Hi, this is my quick review on the Seville laptop cart. So let's get started. So I've had this for a year, and my overall opinion of this is very good. Like I said, I've had this for a year, and after about a month of owning one of these, I end up having to get two of them because my fiance wanted two of them. Because it's, like I said, it's held up great. You don't see any scratches on the top, despite being, I don't want to say abused, but it's definitely been used. And I mean, the base looks good as well. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the general features, the measurements and impressions, and then I'm going to finish talking about my assembly of this product. So to start with, this has a large surface area. This measures 23.5 inches by 16 inches at its widest point, which is right in the middle. The top is made with plywood, and it's pretty obvious because it's not that heavy. If this was solid wood, this would be much heavier. And you can see that it has a pseudo finish on it with probably some kind of light coating of polyurethane or something along that line. And it holds up really well. I have a few cats, and you know, their nails don't scratch it. I've, you know, wrote with pencils on here before, and just nothing's really been scratching it. I'm not saying it can't be scratched, I'm just saying I've never experienced it. Now the thing about this is, by turning the knob and loosening this, you can actually take the top off and turn it 180, and it'll actually angle, which I'm not going to show you because there's pictures of it. And it sits about, I would say, about a 30-35 degree angle. Now the problem with that is I never use that because things just tend to slide right off of it. You know, I really don't see much use for it. If you put your laptop on there, it's just going to fall right off. So it's just something to kind of keep in mind. This was actually really sturdy at first, and I'm going to kind of show you how it is now. You can see that it has some give to it, which actually isn't that bad. Part of the problem is there's some welding on the bottom, which I'll show you, and it actually broke for whatever reason. So as you can see, the welding here, I don't know what it is, if it was just quickly done or what. The welding isn't really of high quality, so even without the welding, it's pretty sturdy, but when you first get it, it's going to be really sturdy to begin with. The other thing of note is, and this was on both of them, there was two very slightly raised parts right here and right here that correlate where that bar I just showed you inserting into the wood. I guess when they press it in there, somehow it raises it up. It doesn't damage it. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I still write on this all the time, and it hasn't been an issue, but I just wanted to make you aware of it. As you can see here, size-wise, this is actually pretty big. I mean, I could fit 2 books on here. You could probably imagine what your laptop would be like. This moves from a height of about 20 inches to a height of about 33 inches. It's so high that the camera's not even capturing it. Anyways, the only thing is, if you get too high, it's going to get a little wobbly. So to kind of point out here, as you can see, the little knob that actually holds this in actually does a really great job at holding this from falling down. So I was actually quite impressed. I would have guessed that it wouldn't have held it, but it actually does. This has 4 wheels on the bottom that actually allow this to move pretty good across the carpet, or especially hardwood floor. But across the carpet, I found that it moves pretty good. Unless if you have like a shaggy carpet, I could see where that might be an issue. Now you can also see here that there's 2 tabs on 2 of the wheels, and that actually allows you to quote-unquote break the laptop cart so it won't move around. It actually does a pretty decent job of it. I was quite impressed with it. Now this actually sits about I would say about 3.5 inches from the floor. So if you had to slide this underneath a couch, you're going to need at least 3.5 inches. Now you might be thinking, well, geez, my couch is 2 inches tall or something like that. Can I remove the wheels? Well, you definitely can. Now, The thing is, though, is if you remove the wheels, how this is actually set up is these end caps here are actually held in by the bolt from the wheels. So if you get rid of the wheels, these end caps are going to come off. Now you might say, well, then I don't need the end caps and I can just let it be. Well, the metal tends to be a little sharp, and if you accidentally bump your foot up against it, you might cut yourself. So there's a couple options. You can either go to Home Depot and get short bolts, and I would have them match it for you. Short bolts that can actually fit in here, and then it'll hold these end caps in. Or if you want to MacGyver it, you could always just take plastic tape and cover right over it. And I know it's a little silly, but that's what I did, and it doesn't look bad because nobody's looking at the base anyways. So the assembly of this is actually pretty easy. If you don't have a lot of technical skill, I think you should be fine. So the first thing that you're probably going to do is put these 4 bolts in here. Yeah, I guess you could put the wheels on first and then the end caps, but this is just the order I did it. I put these bolts in here, which connects this bottom base with this middle bar here. Then I took the top piece and connected it with these 4 bolts here as well. It uses Allen wrenches for these here. And then all you gotta do is put the wheels on if you haven't already, and then just slide the 2 pieces together and put the adjusting knob in, and then you're good to go. It's really easy. So again, overall, this is a great table. If you're indecisive, hopefully this review swayed you, or at least help you, because obviously I don't own any stock in this business. If you buy or not, that's your thing, but I think you'll be happy with it. So hopefully this has helped. If it has, let me know, and if you have any questions, just leave a comment.